Hello. How's it going? Yeah, it's been going well for me too. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate it. I've been up to a lot of things, and I'm here to give you an update on what's been happening. So, since the last time I posted, which might have been July, might have been August, might have been September, might have even been January, February, March, April, or May, I have done quite a few things. So I started off my break, as I like to call it. I did a couple of trips, around the world, and my first trip was actually to Saudi Arabia. Now, if you didn't know, Bill Burr is the king of Saudi Arabia, and it was news to me too. I know. He apparently came into power back in like 2007, something like that. So anyway, I went to Saudi Arabia, and he was like, "Hey, Cody, how's it going? I really like your content, love the stuff that you put out." And I was like, "Oh God, Bill Burr, you're a fan of me?" And Bill Burr was like, "Yeah, I love your content, and I'd like to give you a few tips and tricks on how to do comedy." So I stayed with him and trained on a mountain in Saudi Arabia for probably about like 4 months, something like that. Bill Burr has this thing where he can actually stop time, and it was 4 months of stop time. So I don't know really what that translates into. I don't know if it's like a true stop of time, but he did at least slow it down immensely, because whenever I came out, probably around like, July 1st, I came back out probably like July 3rd. So I definitely was there for 4 months. So I don't really know what the deal was. But anyway, when I was leaving, he asked me a personal favor. He said, "Cody, I know you have a great skill with living and being a cool dude, and I feel like you might have a good chance of mediating peace in Yemen with the civil war going on there." And Bill Burr does have, Saudi Arabia backs a Yemen government, and I was like, let's do it. Let's go over there and let's make peace. If you didn't know, Yemen right now has the largest and worst humanitarian crisis in the world, so I feel like I was best suited to deal with this. So I go to Yemen, I fly in on one of Bill Burr's personal jets, and it's crazy because I'm there, and I fly into the capital. I get shot at a couple times, yeah, of course, but then they realize who I am. They see, oh, it's Cody. Like, we need to stop shooting. We need to, be chill. So the shooting stops, and I meet with both groups, and I'm like, "Hey guys, if you didn't know, you're causing a big stink over here in Yemen, and I appreciate if you stop. Just personally, I would really like it if you would stop shooting." And what they said really surprised me. They said, "Cody, we really respect what you say, and we like you as a person and an individual, and we'll respect it. Like, we're gonna have peace." So I intentionally created peace in Yemen. I solved one of the crises in the Middle East. That was one of the first things I did over my break period. And after that, I decided to really chillax, like take a chill pill. So I thought, what better place to take a chill pill than Ukraine? So I go to Ukraine, and one of my favorite pastimes when I'm in a different country is actually watermelon picking. I feel like you can judge the status of a country based on the level and the size and the quality of the watermelons. So I'm watermelon picking. I've got an Airbnb a couple blocks away. It's probably like 2 blocks. Watermelon fields are pretty common in Ukraine, and I'm there. I'm picking the watermelon, and who do I see other than the Pope? So the Pope and I really hit it off. I was like, "Oh my God, I know you. Where do I know you from?" And he goes, "Oh, the Vatican." And I was like, "Oh my God, yes." So the Pope and I really, again, we hit it off. So we're shooting the shit over some watermelons. He gets he gets an okay watermelon. All right, like, I'm gonna be real, Pope, if you're watching this, like, I don't mean any ill will, but like, your watermelon was kind of shit, dude. And I picked one up that was gorgeous. It was voluptuous. It was a thick watermelon. But anyway, we go back to. Turns out he's staying. So the Airbnb I'm renting is actually a hostel because I'm broke as fuck. And this whole Saudi Arabia mess really tapped into my finances because Bill Burr actually made me pay for everything that I did on that trip, which was really rude of him because I thought we were friends, but you know how it is. So anyway, I'm broke as shit, and I'm staying in an Airbnb in Ukraine. And the Pope and I were both walking back, and he's like, "Yeah, my place is over here." I'm like, "Oh my God, my place is over there too." And he's like, "No way." So it turns out he owns that hostel in the Ukraine. And it blew my mind because I thought he was just some old guy. Like, you don't know who the Pope is unless he's got the whole hat and the garb on. I saw him that morning, and I didn't recognize him as the Pope because he didn't have the whole like, hat and garb situation. So we chill. We're chilling. They actually we have a grill at the hostel, so we grill up some watermelons and we're shooting the shit. He's like, "Hey man, the whole religion thing, like, it's really cool." And I was like, I respect that. I respect your ability to religion. Like, it's really cool. I think you're a cool dude. I think I'd love to learn more from you. You're a great guy. And that was pretty much it. Like, we chilled, we cracked open a cup of cold ones, talked about philosophy. If you didn't know, the Pope actually does hard drugs. He does heroin. And that really shocked me. I didn't expect the Pope to do heroin, but he offered. So, I was like, the Pope. If the Pope offers, do you refuse? Because I think not. I definitely would not refuse the Pope, and I didn't. So I do heroin with the Pope, which was an experience. Yeah, and I don't really remember much after that. I think he laced the heroin. We ate watermelons, shot the shit, and did heroin together. I don't remember much of the heroin trip. I think he laced it, or he just got a bad shipment. I don't know. I really don't know the situation. But I woke up in his bed. That could have just been a homie situation. We could have just been spooning all night, and that's totally fine. Like, I feel like, what else are you going to do when you're on heroin? What are you going to do? Walk around? That's insane. So I wake up in the Pope's bed, and I'm like, all right, I got to go. I've had a good time. My house, it was only for today. I'm gonna leave. So I fly over to Italy, spend a few weeks in Italy, just kind of roaming the countrysides, picking fruit, eating some corn. They have a good corn crop in Italy, if you didn't know. I stay in a couple like summer houses from rich people. There's a lot of those, actually. A lot of rich people own summer properties, so where they go to Italy and they stay the summer through there. But luckily, the properties that I went to were empty because of COVID, and most of those families are from Switzerland, the U.S., richer countries, I guess, people with like a gross wealth. Regardless, I stay in a couple of those cottages, break a window, crawl into their beds, eat their expired milk. Because, when you're thirsty and you've been roaming the countryside for a couple days to weeks, you really don't care the status of the milk. If you want milk, you want milk. And there was a surprising lack of cattle and various other animals while roaming in the Italian countryside. So I drank the expired milk. It was something that I really thought was part of the experience. If you're going to Italy, you can't not drink expired countryside milk. So I did it. It wasn't that bad. It was more like a solid rather than a liquid. So it was sort of like I threw it in a bowl and I got a fork and a knife and I really cut open and kind of figured out where that was going. And it was going in my stomach is where it was going. So I finished that and I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there. I've got a belly full of spoiled milk. I had just eaten. I'd eaten a corn on the cob because there's a couple cornfields, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm really living my best life. COVID is happening. Almost 1 million people have died. Not at this point. I think a few 100,000 have died at this point, but in the world. But I think it might be time to hit the coast, like see what's happening. So I head on over to where did I go after that? I didn't go home. I know that. I think I went to. I flew to China. I flew to actually Wuhan. That's right. I flew to Wuhan, and it's crazy how you can get these flights. Like, I didn't get them off of Spirit or any of those flight places. I pirated. No, I bribed with my body several airplane pilots that I found in their little like hangar garages. Because if you own a plane, what are you gonna do? Keep it out in the open? No, you're gonna store it in the Italian countryside, and you're gonna be there. You're gonna be fixing it up, waiting for the day that you can fly internationally. And there I was. I walk up to the man. This was the one guy. It was one guy, So it's the one guy, and he knows me. Like, he's like, Cody, oh my God, that's you. Like, I love your content. I was like, so how would you like to make some content. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, would you like to record us having sex? So he goes, yeah, of course. Like, you're famous. I really like what you do. I like your whole situation. So the guy and I, we chill for a little bit. It's sort of like the situation when you walk and you get invited to a threesome. It's very similar to that situation. Like, in the threesome is not like people you know. It's like off a Tinder or something like that. So I walk in to the guy. I mean, it's just him though. It's just the similar vibe. The situation is like, he brings me to his place and he's like, "Hey man, you want a cold beer?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So he passed me a Yingling, which I thought was really weird. I was like, if you're really gonna like try to hook up with someone, you don't hand them a Yingling. You give them like a Bud Light or something like that. Something more of like a one night standy kind of beer. But he pops an IPA open for himself. I don't remember what IPA, probably some Italian IPA. But he's chilling, he's vibing. I think he gets way drunker than me, at least immediately. And then I start catching up. We shoot the shit. You know, turns out he actually fought in the he fought for America. I believe it was back when. Sorry, I was about to say Napoleon, but that's wrong. It was the Indian and the French War. It was back when America was being founded, and then we were fighting off the Native Americans. I forgot exactly what the situation was. I don't know if I feel like I don't know what war. I'm not sure what the situation is. Like, I understand that. Anyway, it was him. It was his words, not mine. He said the Indian-American War, and I was very confused. Like, I was like, "What is that? Did that happen? Did we go to war with India?" And he goes, "No, the Native Americans." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of a problematic viewpoint. You can't really say that sort of thing." So we're talking, we're chilling, we're vibing, and anyway, we have sex. We record it, and he now has that footage. It's on a hard drive. I think he posted it online. You can probably find it somewhere. He did rail me in his plane, actually, which is pretty cool. So anyway, after the video is recorded, I spend the night. He makes me pancakes and eggs and waffles. Weird how he made pancakes and waffles, but he's probably like 300, 400 years old. So I was kind of like, all right, you know, it's probably how it works. And we get in his plane, and he takes me to China. He takes me to Wuhan, and he stays there a couple days. We kind of part ways there, but I have him in my phone, so whenever I need to call him, I call him up, and he'll fly to me, and then we'll make another sex tape. That's sort of how we work. Or at least how I assume we work, because it didn't really happen too many times after that. So anyway, I'm in Wuhan. I'm chilling. And crazy, they're like burning bodies in the streets. I didn't expect that. And there's a lot of bats everywhere. So I see that the population around there, they're just like, instead of eating actual food, they're eating bats out of the sky. They're skewering them with a harpoon and eating them out of the sky. So I, of course, join in on, I want to experience the culture, that sort of thing. So the bats are out of the sky, and I eat one raw. Like, I eat, like, the bat's still alive, and I just bite into it. And they were kind of freaking out. They're like, "No, don't do that. That's psychotic. You are insane." But I don't speak Asian, Chinese, any of those languages. So I continue to eat the raw bat, and they are still confused. They're still like, "Why is this white American man? We think he's American. We're not really sure. I think there's like a tribal ban or something like that. So I don't really know how he got here. But why is he eating this bat raw? That's really fucking weird. It's kind of, you know, he might be a psychopath. Maybe we should stay away from him." So anyway, I continued. I finish off the bat, and they get respect for me. They're like, "Okay, well, he did eat something. That is pretty insane. Like, we don't want to fuck with him." So I'm just asking some questions. I'm like, "Hey man, like, do you know where the nearest McDonald's is?" And they were like, "Oh no, we don't have McDonald's. We just have, you know, corner markets, farmer markets, that sort of thing." But I want to experience the culture again. And I ask if there's any cool countrysides to roam around in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got one like right around back." So I go around back to Wuhan. I roam the countryside for a couple weeks, and then I return back to Wuhan, and I see that the city is razed. There's no more city. Bats have overtaken the city, and it's crazy because you don't think of bats as having two legs and two arms, but they do, and they can actually walk and talk on those legs and arms. So that was really an experience for me because I was trying to interact with these bats. and figure out really like where they were going, what the situation was, what the vibe was, like what are they trying to overtake humanity? Like I don't know. I want to figure that out. So they told me I met with the Bat King, and the Bat King is like, "Yeah, what's up, dude?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, you're not Bill Burr." And he's like, "No, no, 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 I'm not Bill Burr. It looks just like Bill Burr. He's like he's my favorite comedian, and I wanted to really like get a facelift, more than a facelift, look like more like a what's the word? An entire new body." So the bat created an entire new body. He's got little wings, and it looks exactly like Bill Burr. And he's talking to me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm living the dream. I really enjoy where I'm at. We have this country, we have this bat country." And I was like, "Cool." Well, bat city, less of a country. But they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna expand. We're gonna have more of like a bat continent soon. And once that happens, then we'll really try to like join the UN and really like be peaceful and that sort of thing. But we got to get all of Asia first." And I was like, "Oh, I totally understand. Like, you don't want to be prejudiced. You don't want to have like a worse experience, that sort of thing." So anyway, the Bat King, he actually goes by Bat Burr, which is kind of cool. I thought that was a pretty cool nickname for him. I came up with that. He really liked it. So Bat Burr and I, we're chilling, we're vibing, we actually cracked open a couple fucking cold ones. And believe it or not, he's got Yinglings too. I didn't even know they had Yinglings in China. I don't know where the production stops and starts for Yinglings, but they are in China. He actually does not crack open an IPA though. He cracks open like a sugary Smirnoff, and I was really confused. I was like, I didn't expect you, Bat Burr, to drink Smirnoffs. He's like, "Oh yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's like the sugary sweetness of a fruit, but in the form of a liquid drink." And that was really cool. That was really eye-opening for me because I didn't expect bats to have a varied diet. And he was like, "Yeah, sometimes I like to have this sort of like fun thing happen where I don't just eat fruit. I drink Smirnoffs." So he's kind of a homie. We chatted up. Turns out he's actually from Wisconsin. I really did not expect him to be from Wisconsin. He's like, "Yeah, I flew across the ocean without my family. My family got hit by a car, and actually one of them was skewered very recently on a harpoon and eaten raw by this psycho." And I was like, "Oh, that'd be crazy. Like, I wonder who did that." And he was like, "Well, we don't know. We're still like investigating that sort of thing, but the suspect left the area, so we really have no leads." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's rough, Bat Burr." And anyway, Bat Burr and I, we talk some more, and he's like, "You know what? I really like you, dude. Like, here's a fruit." And then he hands me like a strawberry Smirnoff, and I'm like, "Okay, this is really whack. I didn't know they had strawberry Smirnoff." And he's like, "Yeah, no, try it." And I'm like, "I'll wait. I'm gonna wait till back when I'm home and like living the dream back in the U.S." And he's like, "Oh, well, travel ban and that sort of thing." And then he goes, "You know what? Just for you, hop on my back." And I'm like, "What? Why would I hop on your back?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he's out of this Bill Burr's body, he sprouts gigantic bat wings, and I shit you not, like this was really really incredible for me. So he sprouts gigantic bat wings, and he's like, we're flying across the ocean. And I was like, "Oh my god, let's do it." So we fly across, I think Jersey, and we get a couple shots were taken out of us. Like the locals think that we're like, I think the Jersey Devil, so they're shooting up at the air. Which kind of sucked. And then he dropped me off in Florida. We dodged all those bullets from earlier. I think he got hit once, but he really was like a cool guy about it. Bat Burr was like, he kind of like, you could tell he got shot, but he kind of like kept it all cool. And I'm really like, I really respect that in a bat, like that kind of tenacity. So he drops me off. I'm back in Florida, and he's like, "Hey, I watch your YouTube." And I was like, "Yeah, I think you might have mentioned that. I don't know. A lot of people apparently abroad watch my YouTube." And he goes, "Yeah, so you want a Twitch stream sometime?" I'm like, "Yeah." So might get him on my Twitch stream soon. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it goes. Who knows? We might play some Fall Guys or Among Us, that sort of thing. And yeah, it was this whole experience. That's been the past, like, what, 2 months, something like that? I don't know. I may have the dates wrong. It's been a whack experience. The Pope did give me a lot of heroin, and he told me to bring some on the road, and I have been doing heroin the entire time. I don't know if that has an effect on my storytelling. I think it probably was like, if anything, a benefit to my storytelling. Yeah. And then the hurricane hit. So I've been just kind of vibing. I had no power for a couple days, but Bat Burr, he stayed the couple nights, and really kept me company. I didn't expect him to be so cozy. You know, those bat wings are terrifying, and they are not. They had fur. They had fur like normal bats, and then we flew over the ocean, and those winds, those ocean winds, really tore the fur off of his wings, and I found out that they were skin. It was like the human skin. On top of the Bill Burr body. So it was like Bill Burr had gigantic bat wings, which freaked me the fuck out. And I was scared, but then I did more heroin and it kind of like evened out. It was an experience. He cuddled me a couple nights during the power outage, as I was trying to say, but I got distracted by the skin wings. And it was very comfortable. I gotta say, like he was very warm, very, very good guy. I told him some of my woes, you know, girl problems, that sort of thing, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, as a bat, you know, women actually have the penises." And I was like, "Oh, no way." And he's like, "Yeah, that's sort of like how they do it." So it's sort of this. I don't really understand. I didn't know that about bats. And he goes, "Yeah, I know not many people do. In fact, you won't see it in any science textbooks." And I was like, "That's crazy. I'm glad I learned that from you, Batbird." And he goes, "I'm glad I learned how to do heroin from you, Cody." So anyway, yeah, I got Batbird hooked on heroin, who is now the king of Wuhan. He left. He did go back to Wuhan, like I think this morning, might have been last morning. You know, the heroin, but he's been doing good. I guess I have him on. I have him on my phone too, along with that guy from Italy, and the Pope. I tried getting the Pope's number, but it didn't really work out. Like he was kind of weird and evasive, and he's like, "You already have my number," and I was like, "What does that mean, Pope? Like, I need to know. Do I have your phone number or not? Like, I need to. I need to figure this out." And I never did. Maybe he'll contact me at some point. But yeah, I hope he's doing good. I hope COVID isn't, you know, he's probably at risk for COVID because he's like 90, 97, something like that. Real homie though, other than the Yinglings. That was weird. They all had Yinglings. I really don't know what the situation was and why it was in so many different countries, but yeah, that's been since my last upload. I've been streaming on Twitch too. Making some TikToks. Posting on Twitter. Follow me on all of those things. Yeah. I hope you guys are doing well. COVID's whack.